Do you remember during your January 11th interview speaking with Detective Thorpe regarding several individuals that you texted about you and Kel, about your relation, about the fights that you were having with you and Kel?
You say that again?
Sure. Do you recall during your interview telling Detective Thorpe about text messages that you sent, and I apologize, excuse me, about text messages that you sent regarding this thought that Mo was trying to kill you and Thug?
Yeah.
All right. Do you remember the substance of what those texts were?
No.
Okay. Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that you texted one telling them, bro, it ain't no beef. I ain't stunting y'all niggas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you said, did I text it?
Yes.
I do not remember nothing I said to Detective Thorpe.
So is your answer that you don't remember telling him about this text?
I don't remember nothing I said to him about any. I really don't.
Okay. And that you also texted that there's a guy down the road, Mo, he's supposed to kill me and Thug, so that you had 10 minutes on your phone, and that you texted someone and asked, y'all going to kill me and Thug? And you put a laughing like ha 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 emoji.
Basis. Okay, so foundation. Okay, foundation. I'll stand as the foundation. You want you to live on the foundation.
Do you recall sending these text messages back in January of 2015?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe about these text messages?
I don't recall nothing I said to Detective Thorpe.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that you received a response back from that text message?
I don't recall any conversation with Detective Thorpe.
I understand you can slow it down, but I'm gonna keep asking you these questions. So do you recall texting or telling Detective Thorpe that so another guy called you and said that those people were just lying?
I don't recall.
All right. And do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that they didn't believe you when you told them that there's really no more beef between you and Kel?
I don't recall.
All right. And do you recall to tell Detective Thorpe that you asked them, or you told them that it's not about you, you wanted to know what they had against you and what have you done to them? You never took any of their girlfriend, you never did nothing to him, and you were referencing Kel.
That what I said? I don't recall.
Okay. And do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that you asked, why does he hate me?
Why? Who hate me?
Why does Kel hate you?
I don't recall.
Okay.
Can you explain to me what I don't recall mean? Don't it mean I don't remember, right?
Do you remember any of this?
No, I'm just trying to make sure I'm saying the right thing. I don't remember this stuff.
On the night that Donovan Thomas drove, earlier you said that you kind of drove around. Do you remember saying that earlier today?
I said it?
Yes.
What you mean? I drove around.
The night that Donovan Thomas got murdered, after you learned that people thought it was you were just kind of driving around. Do you remember that?
I said I blinked out.
Okay. Do you remember driving around at all?
I remember being at a lot of different places.
Okay. Do you remember any of the places that you went to?
I remember people staring at me like they. I just remember how people were staring at me.
Okay. Do you remember in the same January 11th, 2015 interview, the town Detective Thorpe, that first you went towards Hateville, then you got off the expressway right by the Chick-fil-A?
I don't recall what I told Detective Thorpe.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that you went over to Thug's house to see what was going on?
I stand the objection.
Do you remember going to Thug's house that day?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Thug that you went down to Thug's house to see what was going on?
I don't recall.
Do you recall if you talked to Thug that evening after you learned that people thought that you killed Nut?
Can you ask me that again?
Sure. Do you recall speaking to Thug on the night that Nut was killed?
Nah, I don't.
Okay. Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that you spoke to Thug while at his home?
Can you say that again?
Sure. Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that you spoke with Thug while at his house?
I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that you told Thug that them folks then came and shot Deshaun's mama house?
I don't recall.
Okay. And do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that his answer was, for real?
That's it?
Yep.
I don't recall.
Okay. And do you recall you telling Thug what I'm supposed to do, bro?
I don't recall.
Okay. And do you recall you telling Detective Thorpe that he said, man, just stay out of the way and let 12 handle that?
I don't recall.
And that's all he kept saying, 12 going to deal with it.
I don't. That's what I supposed to say to Thorpe?
Do you recall
I'm saying this conversation with Thorpe?
Yes.
I don't recall.
Okay. And then do you recall saying to Thug, like, man, bro, you just saying stay out of the way and deal with that, bro. But these folks, and you also said that Thug know them better than you do.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Do you recall telling that to Detective Thorpe?
No, you got to say it to me again.
Sure. Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that you said, like, man, bro, you talking about just stay out the way and let the police handle it and deal with that, bro? Man, fuck that. He knows them better than I do.
This supposed to be what I supposed. This me talking?
Yes.
No, I don't recall that.
Now, earlier I asked if you remember that if Deshaun went to the movies. Did you tell me that you do not recall if Deshaun went to the movies that night?
I never even heard of whoever you mentioned it.
Deshaun, your girlfriend at the time.
I never dated no girl named that.
You never dated a girl named Deshaun?
Never dated a girl named Deshaun.
Desha?
My baby mom name is Deshaun.
Okay, so it's Deshaun, not Deshaun.
I think that's what I just said.
Okay. Do you recall if Deshaun went to the movies? I don't know. I don't know if she went. I can't remember if she made it out. Time, everything was going so fast. I can't remember if she went to the movies or not. Do you recall in that same January 11th interview telling Detective Thorpe that Deshaun went to the movies and that you gave her the car so she can go to the movies?
I don't recall.
And that it was about 9:00.
I don't recall.
Do you remember picking Deshaun up and her friends up from Greenbrier Mall?
I do.
Okay. What do you remember about that?
I had found out they shot her mama house up. And She called me, told me that her mama house been shot up. And I was pissed off. So I asked her to park the car and I was coming to get her.
Why did you want her to park the car at Greenbrier Mall?
Because if anybody would did anything to that car while she was in there, well, nobody gonna get no rest.
And that's fair. Is there a police precinct at,
I'll stand there. I'll stand the question.
is there a police precinct at Greenbrier Mall?
I don't know.
Did you want her to park at Greenbrier Mall because of,
Oh yeah, it is.
and did you want her to park at Greenbrier Mall because of the police precinct, police station being there?
No, it's an area that I don't know if it was me who told her or she came up with it. I just told her to park, get out the car. I was coming to get her.
When you went to go get her, who were you with?
If I'm not mistaken, I think I was probably with Moonton. I was with different people that night.
Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that you were with Moonton, his girl, and his baby?
I don't recall what I told Detective Thorpe.
Do you recall being taken over to Greenbrier with Moonton, his girl, and his baby?
I know I was with Moonton at a certain time that night. I can't remember if it was him. I can't say for a fact if it was me and him who went to get her, but I know I went and got her.
Now, Mr. Copeland, after January 11th, 2015, and in the weeks after Mr. Thomas was killed, did you stay in the Atlanta area?
Can you say that again?
Sure. Did you stay in Atlanta?
Still do.
Okay. Did you ever go anywhere after Mr. Thomas was killed?
I went right back to Carver home.
Did you ever go to Miami?
Yes.
Okay. Who did you go to Miami with?
My baby mom and my daughter.
And did anyone pay for your trip to Miami?
We drove.
Where did you stay when you got to Miami?
I think a hotel.
Did you pay for that hotel?
No.
Who paid for the hotel?
I don't get what you asking. You said who paid for the hotel?
Yes, you said you did not pay for it.
Yeah, I didn't pay for it.
So who paid for it?
I guess Young Thug. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say who paid for it.
Did Young Thug offer to pay for the hotel in Miami for you?
No.
So why are you assuming that Young Thug paid for it?
Because that's what I saw when I went to Miami. So
did you go visit Young Thug in Miami?
No. Everybody was screaming my name. A lot of stuff was going on. Homicide Detective Thorpe. It was after me. And my probation officer, I remember talking to her about it because I had to go see her after I left from being questioned from that. And then I was told I need to lay low. And I asked for permission to leave, and she gave me permission to leave.
Okay. So my question is, how did you determine that Young Thug paid for your hotel?
Because I asked him, could he help me? You know what I mean? Because everybody's saying my name. And he just like, I get back with you. And I don't know, you asked me to be honest, I can't say if he paid for something if I didn't see him pay for it or didn't. If he paid for it, I would say he did if I know he did it.
Okay. How long did you spend in Miami?
I don't know. I can't say how long.
Was there anyone else in Miami besides you, your daughter, and Deshaun?
Yes, a lot of people in Miami.
People that you know?
Yes.
Who?
His family.
Whose family?
Young Thug.
Who in his family was in Miami with you?
I don't know his family.
Who's the family that you remember?
His sisters,
Which one?
Dolly.
Okay. Who else?
I don't know the rest of her name.
All right. What other family members was in Miami?
His sisters.
So was that it? Just Young Thug and his sisters?
Well, I don't know. I don't know who his people is like that. I just know Dolly, and I heard her say this my sister.
Okay. Outside of Dolly and Thug, was there anyone else that you know in Miami when you were down there?
What you mean? Be more specific.
Sure. Besides Dolly and Thug, was there anybody else from Atlanta that you know in Miami while you were there?
I don't know how to answer that. Like, I don't know what to say.
What don't you know how to answer?
You asked me who down there. I just said it.
Was there anybody else besides Dolly and Thug down
There's
there?
a lot of people down there, but I can't say. I don't remember who I was down there. If that's better answer.
Was Shannon in Miami?
I think it was.
You said they. I asked about Shannon. Was Shannon in Miami?
Yeah, but now that you said that, I think all them was down there too. Shannon Liddy.
Okay. Little D from Cleveland or Little D your son?
He not my son.
I know he's not your son, but that's what you said.
Say he's like my son.
Which Little D are we talking about?
The one that's like my son.
Okay. Was Little D from Cleveland down there too?
I can't remember if he was or wasn't.
Okay. Was Yak down there?
Yeah, I think so. I believe so.
Was Montauk down there?
I don't think so. I can't remember if he was down there. I don't remember. I can't remember if Montauk was down there.
Okay. Was someone named Doo-Wop down there?
Who?
Doo-Wop.
How? I don't know who that is.
Was OG Bentley down there?
Who?
OG Bentley.
I can't recall.
Do you remember how long were you in Miami?
I think I just told you I don't know. I don't remember. It was more than a day, if that's what you asked.
Do you remember if you had an interview on January 11th, what day or how many days passed? Let me start that. Do you remember if the interview was on January 11th? How soon after that interview did you leave? How soon after that interview did you leave to go to Miami?
I know I had to report my probation, so I don't know if it was a couple days later. I don't know.
When you came back from Miami, let me ask you, did you eventually come back to Atlanta from Miami?
I most definitely did.
Okay. When you came back from Miami, did anything occur on I-75/85? Did you get shot at while driving a vehicle on the highway?
I was already back when that happened.
Right. So that's what I'm asking. When you got back from Miami to Atlanta, did you get shot at on the highway?
Yeah.
Okay. And once you got shot at on the highway, did you go in and speak with investigators about that shooting?
No, I told my brother to report the car was damaged.
Do you recall going into the Atlanta Police Department on January 28th, 2015 to talk about the shooting on the highway?
You gotta be more clear.
Sure. Did you go and speak with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis in January of 2015?
Can you say that one more time?
Sure. Did you speak with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis in January of 2015? How many times do you think you spoke with Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis?
I know one time they were following me.
Let me ask you, was the first time you spoke to Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis after you spoke with Investigator Thorpe?
You gotta explain to me. When so much stuff was happening, and I remember for certain things that were taking place, and the police was coming after me. So you gotta explain to me when they came after me, or what made them call me or whatever. I don't know dates.
Do you remember going to speak with the detectives after being shot at on the highway?
I told you I had my brother to report the car. I didn't talk. My brother reported the car. I never told him. He reported the car. I wasn't in the car.
I understand. I'm asking you a different question. I'm asking a different question. Did you go to the Atlanta Police Department and speak with police even after your brother reported it to the police? Did you go?
So you saying that I just went in the police? You asked me, did I just go in the police and precinct and just talk to them about being shot at? That's what you're asking me.
Do you remember going down to speak with the police after being shot at?
I remember being accused of shooting somebody's house up, and the investigators calling me. Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
You got permission to approach?
You may, as long as you show that to defense counsel.
Mr. Coleman, are you able to see the dates of that interview at the top?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, what is the date of that interview?
It's January 28th.
And is that 2015?
That's what it say.
Okay. And is that you on my right hand of the screen sitting across from Investigator Dennis and Investigator Gates?
Yes.
All right. And again, are you the only person sitting in that interview room when outside of Investigator Gaither and outside of Investigator Gaither and Investigator Dennis?
Unless you don't count the ghosts that's in there with me.
Okay. Now, what do you remember about the shooting on the highway? Tell the jury, what, if anything, do you remember about the shooting on the highway?
What you mean?
Were you shot while driving on the highway?
I never been shot.
Was your car and your vehicle shot at while driving on the highway?
Right.
Okay. Tell the jury, what do you remember about you being in a car, driven on the highway, and being shot at in 2015?
Well, I'm driving and I heard some piping, pop, pop, pop. But I ain't think none of it.
Do you remember where on the highway you were when you heard the pop, pop, pop?
No, I was on the expressway riding.
Which expressway?
The expressway in Atlanta.
Which one?
The one in Atlanta.
You got 20, 75, 85.
I don't know the expressways. I don't know the name of the highways.
Do you remember what street you were near?
I was closer toward downtown.
Okay. Were you near University Avenue exit on the highway?
I was closer towards I was closer towards Pryor Road.
Okay. Do you know that near Pryor Road is I-75 and I-85 near Pryor Road?
I don't know the expressways.
All right.
I just know directions.
Okay. So once you heard the pop, 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 do you remember what happened next?
Yeah, I turned the radio down to see was I tripping.
Okay. And once you turned the radio down to see if you were tripping, what do you remember happening next?
Bullets hit my car.
Was there anyone else in the car with you?
Yeah,
Who?
me and Lady.
Anyone else?
Oh, I'm tripping. Me, Lady, and Shannon.
And once you heard the pop, 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 and you turned your music down, what happened? What do you remember happening after that?
I got pissed off.
Okay. And what did you do after you got pissed off?
Stopped the car and got out.
Okay. And once you stopped the car and got out, what, if anything, did you do?
Say what?
Once you stopped the car and got out, what did you do?
Nothing. I went home.
How far was home from where the shooting happened?
5 minutes walking.
And is home, are you referencing Carver Homes?
Yes.
All right. You said that you went home. Do you know where Shannon went?
I said I went home.
Okay. But Shannon and Little D were in the car with you, right?
Yeah, I went home. So
Did they go home with you?
yeah, they went home with me, but they left. They went wherever they went.
Okay. Do you remember where you were coming from when the shooting occurred?
I think a party or something. I think a party.
Do you remember what type?
A club or something.
At this point, do you remember if the shooting happened during the day or at night? Do you recall?
I think it was about to get dark. I don't know.
Now, do you recall if the party you was at was a pool party?
I stand the objection.
Were you at a pool party?
I can't be specific where I was coming from.
Do you know a girl by the name of Bushi? Or Busha?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you know Bushi?
I grew up knowing her. We went to school together.
What school did y'all go to together?
I think King or Southside, one of them. I don't know.
And is King an elementary, middle, or high school?
It depends on what you're talking about.
What grade were you at when you went to King?
I was in King. When I went to was middle school.
And then Southside, is that a high school or middle school?
It was a high school.
Now, besides Bushi, you and Bushi going to school together, did she ever date any of your friends?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, got it.
All right. And was she dating him in 2015?
That's him.
I'm asking you.
I don't know if they were dating at the time.
Right. Do you remember in this January 28th, 2015 interview talking about Bushi at this party that you went to before your car was being shot at?
I don't recall.
Do you recall in this January 28th, 2015?
Sure. Madam, you may continue. Mary.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe my last question was, do you recall her being at this party that you were at prior to the shooting on the highway with the car?
I can't recall.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that she was present at the pool party that occurred prior to the shooting on the highway?
I don't know, I guess.
Do you remember? Do you not remember?
I don't recall.
All right. Did you know if Bushi had a relationship or friendship with Nut and Nut's family?
I don't know.
Do you recall telling police that she knew both families, that she was putting up posters like it was her family. Put a poster of nut like
I don't recall.
Were you concerned about Bushi being on the phone at the pool party prior to you leaving the pool party? I can approach about why it's relevant. It'll be a speaking objection.
All right, come on up.
Detective Gaither, that you did see her on the phone at the pool party.
I don't recall.
Do you remember who was with you at the pool party?
I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that Shannon was with you at the pool party?
I don't recall.
Now, on the shooting on the highway, do you recall how many cars were shooting at your car?
I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that it was 2 cars shooting at you, or excuse me, 2 cars with you on the highway? Is your car and another car?
I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that Boo was in a car?
I don't recall.
When you heard the pow, pow, pow in the vehicle, what did you do?
Thought I was tripping.
Did you duck down in the car?
No, I turned the radio down to make sure I wasn't tripping.
After you turned the radio down and made sure you wasn't tripping, did you do anything with your body?
Did I do anything with my body?
Yes.
I don't recall.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you ducked down in the vehicle?
I guess I don't recall.
Okay. Were you able to drive the car after the shooting?
Yeah, I didn't leave it.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that the car stopped working? You tried to hit the gas and it stopped working.
I don't recall.
Do you recall if anyone told you to try to keep going even though the car was stopped?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither, God bless you, Detective Gaither, Detective Dennis, that he was telling me to go, 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 and I'm like, I can't because the car don't work?
I think the car did stop working for a second.
Huh?
I think the car did stop working.
Do you recall anyone trying to tell you to go even though the car has stopped working?
I don't recall.
All right. After the car stopped working, do you recall hearing any more shots?
Not because I got out the car.
Do you remember telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that you heard more shots going pow, pow, pow? You ducked down, but there was some others behind you.
I don't recall, I guess.
Okay. Do you not recall?
Don't say I think that's what happened. I think I don't remember if I got out the car, and I think another car did start shooting. If I'm not tripping.
Do you remember the 2 types of cars that was out there shooting at you all?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I thought the people that was with me, I don't remember.
Okay, what were you about to say? You thought the people who was with you, what?
I don't remember.
Do you remember one of the cars being a gray Impala with tinted windows?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis that there was, when you looked up, you saw a car, a gray Impala with tinted windows.
Oh, I don't recall.
Do you recall hearing even more shots after those first two set of shots?
Huh?
Do you recall hearing more shots even after the first two set of shots that were fired?
I don't get what you're asking.
Did you hear any more shots while you were being shot at on the highway?
I think I told you what I heard.
Why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you call the police?
Gotta get my lid back.
You want to get your lick back?
I don't know why I didn't call the police.
Okay, well, what did you just say? You want to get your lick back?
I stay in that question.
Was your brother in the car with you when it was getting shot at?
No,
So why did you have your brother call the police and not you?
because it was his car.
But did the shooting happen to you?
The shooting happened to the car.
Okay, while you were in it?
The car was shot, not me.
While you were in the car was shot?
The car was shot, not me.
I understand. While you were in the car.
I stay in the objection.
So, because the car was shot while you were in it, why didn't you call the police?
Because it wasn't my car. I didn't have license. It wasn't my car.
Okay. So did you not call because you didn't have a license?
I stay in the objection.
Now, during this interview, did you ever tell Investigator Gaither and Investigator Dennis about the beef between you and Kel,
Probably so.
What do you recall telling her about the beef between you and Kel?
Probably whatever I could have convinced them to make them believe.
Make them believe what?
Me.
And so were you telling them the truth?
It depends on who listening.
It was Gaither and Dennis.
I don't know what you saying.
I asked you, did you tell them the truth? Your response was, it depends on who's listening.
I stay in the question.
Did you want to tell the truth to Dennis and Gaither?
I got a very difficult time telling the truth to investigators if I feel they are after me.
Okay, so I'm asking you, in this January interview, did you tell them the truth about the beef that was happening between you and Kel?
I don't know what I don't told them. That's why I'm trying to be careful what I say right now.
During that interview, did you tell them about going to Club Crucial every Monday?
Probably so.
Did you tell them that even when you went to Crucial, you never fought with Kel except for one time?
Me and him never fought. I told you he put his hand on me.
Okay. Did you tell Detective Gaither, fuck yeah, but we never fought? We never fought, not one time. Did you tell them?
I'm overruled the objection, sir.
Did you tell that to Detective Gaither?
If that's what it said.
Do you recall telling that to Detective Gaither?
Can you say that again?
Sure. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither in reference to Kel, fuck yeah, but we never fought, not one time?
Why I say fuck yeah for?
I don't know.
I'm trying to hear what you said before that.
I'm asking you about that particular line. Do you recall, yes or no, Mr. Copeland? If
I
you
don't
said-
recall.
All right.
All right, before you pose the next question, I have a request to take a comfort break. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take.
I'm trying to help him with.
Get back in with them.
Oh, I don't know what was taking place. I talked to the investigators. I was trying to tell them whatever I think I can convince them to believe. I don't get in people's business to be knowing what they be having going on. But I'm good with coming up with a story.
What would talking about Bloody J have to do? Why would that help you get out of?
Because the investigators they just I don't know, like they so focused on me. I'm trying to get them out of me. They need to go focus on somebody else and get their attention out of me.
Earlier, do you recall saying that when you went to speak with Detective Thorpe on January 11, 2015, you went down there because Detective Thorpe called you and told you to called you, and that's why you went down there? Do you remember saying that earlier today?
I believe after they shot somebody, one of my family members, my baby mama house up, that's when the investigators called me. Because they said that it related to something. I don't know. I can't really remember exactly, but that's when I went down for questioning.
Okay. And did you go there voluntarily?
What they mean?
Did you go there because you wanted to go there yourself?
I went there because people told me to go there.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that everybody's like, nah, wait on them to call you? And I was like, I ain't want to wait. You know what I'm saying? I ain't do it.
I don't recall what I told them.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither? So they were like, just wait. And I'm like, so I wait, but I kept asking more people because they had shot up my girl mama house.
Most time I talked to the police, they had to come and get me.
Did they come get you on January 11th?
They didn't have to.
Okay, you drove down there you had Moonsoon take you down there.
Because everybody was telling me to go down there.
Okay. And Moonsoon, didn't you encourage Moonsoon to come and talk to the police too?
Say that again?
Did you encourage Moonsoon to come and talk to the police?
I think I remember telling him that if they said, man, you did it, you need to come in here with me.
And do you remember him telling him, nah, I'm gonna wait for them to come to me?
No, I think he told me to give the investigator his number and tell him if they wanted him to call him, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you remember telling Detective Gaither? I came out here, I got Moonsoon, and I'm like, you don't want to come in and talk to him, bruh? You know your name in it, bruh. And he's like, shit, I'll wait on them to call me.
I know Detective Gaither she got somebody against me. She making her business to try to get me. So anytime that she trying to question me, I'm gonna spin her every chance I get. But I do not recall what I told her when she questioned me, but when she questioned me, I know she trying to get me.
Okay. Is Detective Gaither able to tell you the answers that are coming out of your mouth?
I stand the question, Mr. Form.
Does Detective Gaither know what you think, what you're going to say?
I stand the question.
In the January 28th interview, let me ask you this before I ask you that. Do you know what the relationship was like between Nut and Thug back in 2015?
No.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither, at least in the January 28th interview, that Nut and Thug was cool?
I don't recall.
Right. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither, on God, I didn't even know?
There's objection. I sustain the question. I'll sustain the question.
I think the question was, back in 2015, did you know the relationship between Nut and Thug?
It's still subject to foundation. I'm sustaining.
But now I'm impeaching him on what he told detective about his knowledge of the relationship.
I sustained the question before. You still need to lay some foundation as to how they knew each other in that particular time period, okay? That was the basis of Mr. Steele's objection.
Back in 2015, were you familiar with Nut?
Yes.
And were you familiar with Thug?
Well, what do familiar mean?
Well, you just answered that you were familiar with Nut, so
I sustain the question, inform the
What?
question.
When I just asked you, were you familiar with Nut, and you said yes. Why did you say yes?
Because people have different definition of things, and I knew of Nut.
Okay.
If that's the same, then I guess.
Did you spend more time with Nut or with Thug back in 2015?
I spent more time with Thug. I didn't hang around Nut.
Did Thug ever speak with you about his relationship with Nut?
No.
Did you ever observe Thug and Nut together?
I never saw those two together. I never been around those two together. No, it never crossed my mind.
So how were you able to tell Detective Gaither that Nut and Thug was cool?
Because they're questioning me and I'm trying to get them off of me. And she asked me questions about Nut and Thug, I guess. And I'm telling her whatever she asked me, let's say she asked me a question about the sky. I'm gonna say, yeah, I seen the sky. It's blue. Whatever she asked me, I'm gonna agree to that. I'm gonna say whatever she asked me. If she asked me about this reporter right here, I'm gonna say, yep, she's sitting outside me with white tennis shoes on. I'm gonna say something. Just because I want her to believe I'm telling the truth. That I want her to get me out of jail.
What, she has on white tennis shoes, don't she?
Don't you got on white tennis shoes? She got on Chucks.
Right, and they white, right?
What color your shoes is? Okay. She got on Chucks.
So you telling the truth.
What color your shoes is? She said they white.
Right, so you're telling the truth then.
Well, it depends. See, you pick what you want to tell them.
So did you also tell Gaither in another interview that Nut and Thug had problems?
Can you say it again?
Did you also tell Gaither in another interview that Nut and Thug had problems?
See, you saying it right there and there.
So my question for you is, how did you know about any relationship between Nut and Thug?
I didn't.
Earlier, I asked you about the time you spent in Miami. I mean, you recalled you didn't remember. Do you recall to tell Detective Gaither that you spent about a week in Miami?
I don't recall what I told whoever you just said.
Okay. Now, when you came back from Miami, did you have any concern about Thug and you and your relationship?
What you mean?
Did you have any concerns about Thug and you and your relationship?
You asking me?
I am.
Did I have any concern?
Yes.
I just left with Young Thug?
Yes.
And what my concern was?
I'm asking you if you had any.
If I just left with him, why would I have any?
Okay. Do you remember telling Detective Gaither, so we came back and it was like Thug was trying to get rid of me? You feel what I'm saying?
Had to switch it up.
You had to switch it up.
I had to switch it up.
Why did you have to switch it up?
Because they kept targeting me.
Who is the they?
Investigator Gaither and Dennis.
Why did you have to switch it up to say that Thug was trying to get rid of you? What would that?
Oh, I don't know what I don't know. No. Oh, let's go back.
Okay.
Now I said that he was trying to get rid of me.
Yes.
That's what I told her.
Yeah.
I don't recall what I told her.
Okay, you don't recall that. Do you remember any conversations between you and Thug regarding having a hit on your head?
You said, do I remember having a conversation with Thug about somebody having heat on my head?
Yes.
No, I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that Thug called you and said, bruh, they said I got a hit on your head? And you were like, bruh, you do? And he was like, nigga. And then y'all started laughing.
Oh, you saying that I said Thug had hit out on my head? That's what I'm trying to,
Yes, do you recall?
I thought you were saying that me and him having a conversation and you saying someone else said he had someone else have a hit on my head?
God bless you.
Are you saying that Young Thug had a hit on my head?
I'm saying, do you recall having a conversation with Thug in which you discussed having a hit on your head? Was my initial question.
Can you ask me that one more time?
Sure. Independently, do you recall back in 2015 having a conversation with Thug about having a hit on your head?
So it was a conversation. I'm trying to make sure I understand you. It was a conversation I was having with him.
Yes.
And I told him that he had a hit on my head.
Just generally.
I'm trying to see, am I understanding you right?
Right. I'm asking you. I'm clarifying. Do you recall generally just having a conversation with Thug about having a hit on your head? Just generally.
So you saying I'm trying to, I don't understand you.
Sure.
You saying I'm talking to him, me and him talking, I'm telling him that he has a hit on my head.
No.
That's what I'm trying to see what you're saying.
I'm asking you, do you remember just being on the phone with Thug and having a conversation about a hit on your head?
I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. I don't recall. I don't know.
All right. Do you remember telling Detective Gaither that you and Thug were on the phone and Thug said to you, bruh, they say I got a hit on your head? Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that?
I don't recall.
Okay. And do you recall telling Detective Gaither in response to that, you said, you do? And then he responded, nigga, and then y'all started laughing.
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall Thug telling you about any concerns that his family had with hanging around you?
I don't think I said family, but I do remember people was coming to me, telling me things.
Telling you things about what?
I'll sustain the objection.
Do you remember telling Detective Gaither that Thug told you that they're saying on the street that you and Thug had beef?
No, I don't recall it.
Okay. And that you said you told Thug, man, I haven't heard anything like that.
I think I just told you that right now.
Okay. Do you recall Detective Gaither asking you why would people think that he had a hit on you?
I don't remember what I told the investigators.
Do you remember telling Detective Gaither, like I told you, because everybody in the street saying I did it, and if they kill me, everybody, it is going to go away. Do you remember telling her that?
I remember that. I remember people coming to me, telling me things that was making me think was people was telling me stuff that was trying to get in people was getting in my head and making me believe things. And I started being paranoid, thinking stuff.
When you were in Miami with what was his demeanor like towards you? How did he act around you?
What you mean? I was with my baby mama.
Were you ever around him in Miami?
Like, I was there, but we wasn't, I had to deal with my baby mama and my little girl.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither in this January 28th interview, like at first, like we was just chilling, like he was treating me like a brother. But even when I went to Miami, he stood back and stuff. But just like he wasn't happy with me around no more. It felt different.
Again, you bringing up conversation I don't told the investigators, but I know they trying to get me. So again, because I wasn't clear the first time, obviously, when investigator Gaither was after me, my whole intentions was to get them off of me.
You said that Detective Gaither was after you. Was Detective Gaither the investigator that investigated when you, your baby mother, and your child were shot?
I don't know who was the investigator.
Did you speak with her about that incident when you, your child's mother, and your baby were shot?
When she, anytime I spoke with her, I think she asked me about everything, like this whole thing. So I don't know what I don't told her, what I ain't told her.
Do you recall her telling that she was the investigator that was going to investigate the incident with you, your child's mother, and your child being shot at?
How old will be objection?
What I recall is, I don't know if it was Investigator Gaither, but at one point they was questioning me and they was telling me, do I remember seeing this person right here? As in, they was telling me this was the person that shot at me. So once I heard them bring up a person name, I started saying this must who've been shot at me. So
we're going to get to that interview, but I'm asking you a question.
Let's find out. Were you finished with your answer, Mr. Copeland? Or just something else you want to say?
Yeah. So when they was questioning me, and they was like, did you see Tay in the car? I didn't know why they brought his name up, but for them to ask me, did I specifically see Tay? Tay knew I stayed at, so I felt that Gaither was letting me know it was Tay who came to my house. So when she said that, I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, but that's not my question. Was she the one who investigated you?
I just remember when she was questioning me about me and my child being shot at, she brought up a person name to me and kept asking me about it. And she brought up two other names, but I didn't know them people to hang together. So I really didn't, I brushed the other two names out. And then later they found out that those was the people involved.
Do you remember, and we're going to actually get to that interview
all right
next, but do you remember in that interview actually you not wanting to tell Detective Gaither who shot you because you were afraid of being put in the paperwork and snitching? Do you recall that?
I recall this. and this is the God and the truth. I told those investigators that I did not see nobody's face. They constantly kept asking, "You gonna let dudes shoot at you while you got your kid?" Listen, man, it ain't about being afraid of being paperwork or nothing. You feel me? Like it's not.
Do you recall telling the police that you did not want to be in the paperwork?
I probably did. Who like? But if I had to be in paperwork, I'm still gonna be the same person.
Let's get back to the January 28th interview. Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that even when you were in Miami, he stood back and stuff? It looks like he wasn't happy with you anymore. It just felt different.
Can you tell me what you? Because you asked me about interviews. A lot of stuff started changing. You got to be more specific because at one point the police were targeting me so much that I was turning against everybody. I was thinking everybody was out to get me. So when the investigators started asking me questions, whoever they started asking me questions was, they started becoming a problem with me because I started thinking that everybody was out to me. So I can't tell you what I said to Investigator Gaither, Dennis, or any other investigator that questioned me. All I can tell you is that I was in a messed up state of mind, and you asked me about questions that I was supposed to be asked back then. That if I say something, you're gonna say, "Oh, I might impeach him," or whatever the word is you use. When I don't know, I can't answer that.
Independently, did you feel different around Thug while you were in Miami?
Did I feel? Well, I wouldn't ever stay down there a week with him.
I'm asking you.
I don't recall. I don't recall how it was being down in Miami.
All right. During that interview, do you recall giving Investigator Gaither Moonsung's phone number?
That's it.
That's the question.
To my is that the
After the shooting on the highway.
I remember Moon told me that if they wanted to question him about what happened, that it was okay to get on his number and they can call him.
Do you remember his phone number back then?
No, I don't even remember my phone number right. And did I have them?
Okay. Do you recall giving the phone number 404?
Sir, do you have objection?
You told us to give the last four numbers.
That's fine.
Okay, all right.
Was it 8935? Do you recall giving the number 8935?
I don't recall.
Did you, after this was happening, after Nutt's murder and your home and your family's home being shot up, did you have someone purchase a gun for you?
I had someone purchase a gun for me after the homicide investigator said that I had the rights to defend myself.
And was that after your car had been shot at on the highway?
No, I think it was Investigator Thorpe who told me that. So I don't know when he told me that, but he told me that at one point.
And did you purchase that gun yourself or someone else purchased it for you?
Well, someone else purchased it.
Who?
Lady.
Let's stay in the question.
Did Little D in this, is this a Little D from Cleveland?
Let's I'm gonna hold off on the ruling on the objection till she poses the question.
Is this the Little D from Cleveland?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he purchase guns for anyone else that you are aware of?
How I supposed to know?
I asked that
Well,
you are
actually,
aware of.
he didn't purchase a gun for me. He had one and I bought it from him.
Okay. Do you recall to tell Detective Gaither that he purchased the gun for you from Arrowhead Pawn Shop?
That's what he said he got it from.
Okay. But it was for you. Do you recall that?
I bought it from him.
Now, in the shooting on the highway, do you recall who was shooting at you?
I don't.
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither that it was Greedy who was driving one of the cars?
No. They were doing 100 miles per hour. How you gonna see somebody?
Do you recall telling Detective Gaither it was two cars, the second car, and Greedy was in the first car?
No, I don't recall.
And she actually confirms, Dennis confirmed, so it was Greedy, and your response was, yeah, Greedy was driving.
Well, no, I probably just said it just because I remember the drive-by. They were going too fast to be trying to do anything.
Why would you say it was Greedy?
I don't have a clue. This is my first time hearing this. I don't recall what I said in them interviews. I told you once they would question me, they could have brought up anybody's name and told me that what I gotta say about it. I'm gonna make up I'm gonna have something to say.
Do you recall telling that Little D has seen him in the car?
Huh?
That Little D has seen Greedy driving the car?
We didn't have no conversation about this. I told you it was a turn the radio down to try to see that head. By the time I realized what was going on, the car was all the way in front of us. I didn't notice until the second car, it shot the window. When it shot the window, I was like, what the hell? And I don't know if I told the investigator this, but I thought the car that was behind me was the car that set me up. So I don't know what you're getting at with talking about what I told the investigators.
Who was in the car behind that you thought set you up?
Boo?
Why would you think Boo was going to set you up?
Because I was paranoid.
Why would Boo want to set you up?
I don't know. I said that's what I thought. How if it's a car behind me, how am I getting shot at? I didn't know if they got shot at. I didn't know what would happen. I just knew I was paranoid.
When Little D from Cleveland bought the gun for you, did you go with him to the pawn shop?
Did I go with him to the pawn shop?
Yeah.
I can't recall.
Okay. Do you recall tell Detective Gaither and Detective Dennis, I can show you the gun I got, the same gun I had when I went right to the pawn shop. My buddy bought it in his name and went right back home. Do you tell Detective Gaither that?
I probably did. I'm trying to convince them.
And earlier when you talked about Boo being in the car with you, is that the big Boo, the picture we saw a few days ago?
Big Boo wasn't in no car with me.
Who's Boo?
I said he wasn't in no car with me.
In the car behind you, when you said it was
Yes.
Boo in the car behind you. Kel got into it. Do you recall who you went to the club with that night?
I don't recall who I was with.
Okay. Do you recall if Thug was at the club?
Tonight the night I got into it with him.
Yes.
I can't recall if he was. Or was it?
What about Nard?
Which one?
How many do you know?
More than 3.
Were any of the Nards there at the night?
No, not that I recall. I don't. Yeah,
What about Yat? Was he present at the club?
yeah, I think yeah, was that that night.
Was Shannon there?
Was he? Uh, I can't recall if he was.
Was Little D from Mechanicsville there?
I can't recall who that night because I've been up there so many Mondays, and I'd be I'd be lying if I say somebody was there, somebody wasn't there. I don't remember who that night about anybody.
And my last question, what about Little D from Cleveland?
I can't recall.
Now, after this interview, did you go and speak with police regarding what I just asked you about, which is the shooting between you, your child's mother, and your child being shot at?
Can you know what you say? What about it?
Did you speak with police regarding that incident?
They came and spoke to me.
Okay. Do you recall what happened the day that you, your child, and your child's mother was shot at?
Yeah.
If you can tell the jury what happened.
My daughter, she was crying. She went and stopped crying. So we take her to the hospital. We came out the door. I seen the car, seen it at the stop sign. I had a gun. The car, they came my way. I stood in the middle of the street. They rolled up on the side of me. They let the window down and they tried to shoot me.
And were they able to fire off any shots?
I believe so.
Where was your baby at when they fired off those shots?
I don't know if she was in my hand or if I put in. I can't remember if I put in. It happened so fast. I can't remember if I put it in the car, if I had it in my hand.
And after they started shooting, what, if anything, did you do?
I told my baby mama to get down.
And what did you do?
What you mean?
When they shot at you, your baby, and your girlfriend, what did you do?
I got them up off of us.
And how did you get them up off of you?
I shot back.
And what happened when they shot back? When you shot back?
I kept shooting.
Okay. And what happened?
I made them crash.
All right. How far away did they crash from your house?
Not far.
Was it about the distance that we are, or was
No,
it further?
farther.
Was it back to the end of the courtroom?
Probably so.
Okay. Once they crashed, what happened?
I grabbed my baby and my baby mom and I ran them back in the house.
And were y'all able to make it inside the house? Did you go back inside your house or did you go to the neighbor's house?
Well, she left her purse in the car.
Okay.
She left the keys. We couldn't get in the door, so the neighbors let us in.
And once they crashed, did they ever try to shoot at you all anymore?
I started shooting again.
And what happened?
I kept shooting.
Did they eventually leave?
They had no choice.
All right. Did you have to talk to the police about that incident with you, your child, and your child's mother?
Yeah, the police caught me before I could leave.
And did you go down and tell them everything that you just told the jury about what happened?
No.
What didn't you tell the police?
No, I think I did. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what I told them, but I told them the car pulled on the side of me and tried to shoot me. I think I didn't tell them that. I think I told them somebody else shot back.
Do you recall something that you shot back?
Yeah, I remember. Cause I remember the other one told me. He asked me, did I shoot? He asked me something. I lied and said somebody else was shooting. And then when Gathering came, I knew that she was going. I couldn't come up with no. The name that I said was shooting back was a name that Gathering knew I wasn't going. She knew I was lying about it. So when she came, I went ahead and admitted that it was me who was shooting because I knew that I couldn't lie on no. I couldn't put it on the name that I tried to say.
Do you recall being interviewed about this shooting twice, like back to back?
Can you repeat it?
Sure. Do you remember being interviewed about this shooting with you, and I would just say Deshaun and your
Yeah.
brother twice? One day you were not in custody, the other day you were in custody. Do you remember that?
So when they let me go, they wanted the gun. I told them I'd get them the gun once they let me go. And they went for it. They let me go. And 24 hours later, they had the whole SWAT team at my house, my brother's house.
Did you ever give them the gun that you used?
No,
Why not?
what I look like.
Whose gun was it?
Clearly mine.
Do you recall telling detectives that it wasn't your gun?
I probably did.
Do you know whose gun you said it was?
I can't recall.
Do you recall telling them that it was Shannon's gun?
No, I don't recall what I told him.
Now, the first time that you went in to go talk about this incident, do you remember speaking with a Detective Curry?
There's so many different polices. I don't know. No, all the names I know is Thorpe, Gaither, and Dennis, and the light-skinned lady. I don't know the other people name.
All right. When you first went to talk about this incident, was it with Thorpe, Gaither, Dennis, or was it somebody else?
With me and my daughter.
Yes.
I don't. Well, when I came out the neighbor house to try to get the door key, I looked over. I ain't seen no police. When I walked out the door, the SWAT team was already right there. And when they got me right there, it was some investigator right there talking to me. But when he looked and seen who I was, he called somebody. Then they went to jumping out the sky, coming out the bushes, every which way. They questioned me right there. I don't know who it was. They questioned me.
After speaking with individuals at your home, do you recall coming down to Atlanta Police Headquarters and speaking with the detective?
I don't know his name. I don't know who. The person that questioned me, he wasn't Gathering, so he went for what I told him.
Okay. And what I'm asking you is, do you remember speaking to that detective down at headquarters at Atlanta Police Department?
I remember speaking with him, but I don't really I can't say for sure what I said to him. I know he kept saying he wanted a gun, and I kept telling him, if he let me go, I go get it.
When you had the interview, when you met with that detective, did you meet with, was it you and Deshaun at that interview?
Can you repeat that?
When you went down to that interview, was it you and Deshaun? Did y'all both go to that interview?
Yeah, I made them let her, because why y'all want to question me if it were both of us? Y'all, and I told him, y'all gonna lock me up, just gonna lock me up. But and he was like, no, we not locking you up. So I'm like, well, why she can't come if she was a victim too? Okay. So he's like, well, she can come.
All right. And did the both of you speak with that detective?
I don't think she spoke with him, but because she didn't see nothing.
Mr. Copeland, is that you in the corner with the white hat on?
Yep.
And is that Deshaun sitting next to you?
Yep.
And is that the investigator who conducted it?
I guess so.
Now, Mr. Copeland, a few moments ago, you said that he wasn't Gator, so he went for what I told him. What did you mean by that?
He wanted the gun.
why would you say that he wasn't Gaither, so he went for what I told him?
Because I know Gaither know, she know me.
Okay. And when you say she knows you, what does that mean?
She know I'm about to bullshit her.
She knows you. And again, watch your language.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
I object to that comment.
And it's an adult forum. He can say what he wishes to at this point. What was your answer, sir?
She know I'm about to play around.
All right.
Okay. Now, during the course of this interview, early, did you say that you told him it was somebody else, or did you tell him it was you who actually did the shooting?
When they caught me at the house, I was trying to sneak back out to the car and get the door key. So when the SWAT team seen me, and then he wouldn't let me go back and let them know that they had me. So I had to stay right there. So when the police started coming out the bushes and stuff, they questioned me right then and there. So I told the man who walked up on me, I said there was somebody named Tayshun.
Okay. That was when you were still at
The house.
house. But when you got to the police department, did you tell him?
Before I got to the police department, I think Gaither had pulled up at the house. I think somebody pulled up at the house that knew who I was. And they kept somebody Tay who. And I couldn't come up with no Tay that they didn't know.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna lie on nobody. Like, I wasn't trying to lie on nobody and get them locked up at that time. So I'm just like, I can't lie on these nigga right now. So I went ahead and said it was me shooting.
Okay. And after this interview, were you ever arrested for shooting at the car?
Yeah, I most definitely was arrested the next day.
No. Were you arrested for a probation violation?
I was false arrested. They locked me up for not doing community service when I never had community service to do. Y'all held me in jail for 3 weeks for no reason.
And that was
because I didn't get a police that gun. That's what y'all did to me.
okay. But were you arrested for the probation of not doing community service?
My probation officer told me she didn't put a warrant out on me and told me there was something that had nothing to do with her. She couldn't speak on it. So I don't know. I felt I went to jail for trying to protect me and my family.
All right. Did you ever have to plead guilty for aggravated assault for shooting at the car?
No.
Okay.
Ms. Hilton, can I get you and maybe a representative to?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the natural stopping point for today, and we're going to go ahead and recess you all until tomorrow. Remember that this Friday, I have other unrelated business in the morning, so you won't need to report tomorrow until 12:30. And then we'll start up somewhere around 1 o'clock, and then we'll work until somewhere between 4 and 5 o'clock, okay? All right. Mr. Copeland, we'll see you tomorrow at 12:30, okay? All right, thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, jury, any ministerial inquiry of me at this point? Okay, all right. Let's go through your nightly admonitions and then, well, we chat here, okay? Remember to leave your notepads in the basket. Do not take them home with you or any other place. Remember, as you are seated back there in your headquarters or jury deliberation room, as you go to come here in the mornings or leave in the evenings, or as you take comfort breaks and lunch and other places where you're together as a corporate body, or even if you're in ones and twos, remember that you are not to discuss this case in any way amongst yourselves. All right. Remember, you cannot recap, review, handicap, or otherwise consider or weigh the testimony of any of the witnesses thus far, or begin any such thing that might be considered your deliberative process. Remember, you can only do that when the court properly instructs you on how to do that at the appropriate time. This matter, okay? Remember as well, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot seek any advice from any third parties or third party sites, like for example, any reference materials, Google, any other reference sites that you may think may aid you in your understanding of what you've heard so far. Remember, you can only consider what's been lawfully presented to you within the four walls of this courtroom during the trial of this matter, and you cannot consider any outside sources. Those include any recaps or any other testimony or any other commentary about this trial.
Day 91. What y'all think of day 91? I don't know. I think the pen is yet to drop when it comes to YSL Woody's testimony. We've seen a lot. I don't know if we ever get to what this was all about because of the way it went, but I think the defense cheated. I mean, the prosecution cheated to avert YSL Woody stating on the stand that he had actually murdered Peanut, and they spent this time convoluting the story to confuse the jury. This is very underhanded. It's like if you have a concern for the public, if you have respect for the law, if the man is guilty, the man is guilty. You don't have to do all this trickery if Jeffrey is actually guilty of the crime committed. You don't have to do this trickery if you're the state. Typically, with a good judge, the state is not allowed to perform these acrobatic feats, right? The state is held to a standard and an example of what and how law should be practiced. And part of that is not allowing this circus to go on and for them to bastardize the laws and the rules of the court simply to contort the story into something that could be plausible. But they did it in Manhattan. The Manhattan DA was testifying. Let's see if we could go to the Manhattan DA. The Manhattan DA testified today in the Trump trial before his sentencing. I was very interested I want to find out what did he say, if he wanted jail time or some type of severe punishment, because as you know, as I reported here, he was actually initially, the crime was a misdemeanor, not criminal, and this DA is the one who convinced the judge to accept the plausible argument that somehow this misdemeanor crime should be charged as a Class E felony, the lowest felony available. So let's see what we can find on the Manhattan. But I need y'all to let me know what y'all think, man. We've been doing good, man. You know, I think we ended up with 4,000 people watching us on X, 4,000 people on Twitter. Man, I'm very proud of that. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they fucking with us. So, you know, man, there's more than one way to skin a cat. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very proud of that. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we see. No, I want 13 days ago. I want today. What's today? I needed to. Come on now. Where is it at? Everything is YSL, but I seen this earlier today. Thereof, right? So that's what we're looking for when we look at this case. So I want to thank you guys for checking this out. Thank you guys for supporting. Thank you guys for watching, everybody on X. You know, I've been having some bullshit on Twitter. I've been having some bullshit on YouTube. So I already said fuck YouTube, I already closed YouTube. So fuck YouTube. We're not even live on YouTube anymore. Fuck YouTube. Fuck faggot ass YouTube when they faggot ass fuck YouTube algorithm. YouTube is a bunch of faggot racist bitches and punks. Feel good to just say what you want to say, man. So fucking tired of YouTube. It's such a toxic relationship. It's so vexing and draining. It's the most vexing and draining relationship ever. I mean, really, man, it's such a toxic relationship. I didn't realize it until this happened, how toxic the relationship is with YouTube, right? And not just for me. So it's a big fat fuck you to YouTube faggot ass racist algorithm. And thank you to everybody on X. 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 Thank you for everybody who slid by, supported, and watched today's show. It means so much. The hard work being put in. I'm going to create a smaller video. You know, this is like 5 hours, so everybody ain't going to have time to recap. So I'm going to edit this and then throw it back up there. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to edit this and throw it back up there. Now I'm going to go for a walk and relax and go get my son and enjoy the rest of my day. Thank y'all for hanging out with me, man. Purpose of Podcast is the blast on your ass. Salute. Y'all have a good day. Everybody on Twitch, everybody on X. Thank y'all for watching and supporting. And for all the people hacking my channel, you can't win, man. You can't beat God, man. You can't beat God, man. You can't beat God's goodness and God's grace. And I'm very thankful. We out.